All
Okay.
right.
All right.
All
Well,
good?
we should probably hit the music.
Yep. Do you have it?
I thought you had the music.
No.
All right. Somebody hit the music.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Feeding the Ducks. I am one of your hosts, Fum Duck Kyle.
And I am Joe. Put some respect on that name, man. This is Feeding the Ducks. Hit it hard.
I'm not going to be doing that.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to take it slow and pace myself out for this entire hour.
All right.
Right?
Hour. Yeah, we ain't making an hour.
Oh, no? Okay.
No.
Bedtime
Well,
soon?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
All right. Feeding the Ducks. Welcome to the show. Very excited to be doing this. Although, as the show goes on, my excitement will wane. I tend to lose interest very quickly. So,
Yeah.
check me at the end of the show.
Will do. This is another attempt by us to put ourselves out there and bless the world with entertainment, if you will.
It's very Catholic of you.
Funny you should mention that. I've got some stories regarding Catholic schools, but we can get to those later because you have something you want to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, we're attempting the podcast here to get out, just get our faces and voices out there into the world. We have made other attempts at doing stuff like that to kind of to go, and both of us have both had stand-up comedy careers. To use the term very loosely.
Yes.
I did. I go a little further back than you, obviously, but I started stand up doing it at Pips Comedy Club in Brooklyn, New York. Very famous place. Andrew Dice Clay started there. Mostly everybody, all the big comics from the 80s and 90s traveled to Pips. But I would go there. I would do a lot of sets there. I played in the city, but probably the beginning and the end of my comedy career was in New Orleans. New Orleans. One word. New Orleans. Yes. So I was out there for work, and they had a auditions for their comedy festival, which was going to be a month later. So I was like, hey, I'm here. I got my material. Let me jump into this. So it was at the Hard Rock Cafe there down the French Quarter. I mean, the place was really packed. It was probably the most people I ever played to. A couple hundred, I think, were there, and it was a bunch of comics trying to get an audition for this festival. So I was lucky enough to go up second, which is my favorite spot to go up, because if the first person goes up and bombs, you can only do better, or if he does well, he set the crowd up for you. Yeah, yeah. So I was second, and it actually went great. It was probably one of my best sets. Crowd was really good, just really funny, and I made the festival.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. This is now I'm climbing up that ladder. It's very exciting. So a month later, I take a friend of mine. We go back to New Orleans. And it wasn't quite the same outcome.
No.
What I found out that New Orleans at the time did not have comedy clubs. So these festivals were in different places, which were makeshift comedy clubs for the event.
Okay.
And I got my set was going to be at the Howling Wolf, which was a bar. Right. And it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Not the best time for comedy. No,
I don't know.
No. Mid-afternoon? No, people aren't drunk enough.
It's always a good time for comedy.
No. So me and my friend go there, and we get there, and he jets right to the back of the bar and starts playing Donkey Kong. So I'm sitting there waiting to take my turn, and I get second again. So okay, this is gonna go great. I own this town. So the first person who goes up was a woman who was in a wheelchair. I believe she had MS or something to that effect.
Okay.
But so it was amazing for her to go up there and they up in the wheelchair doing a set. But the biggest problem was my opening joke at the time was a Special Olympics joke. Yep, I know. This is probably the reason I'm not doing stand-up anymore. A little hacky and a little
canceled after the first episode.
Oh man, thank God it wasn't in the canceled days. So anyway,
that doesn't matter.
So I'm a little little worried about this. So I go to my friend who's still playing Donkey Kong, and I say, "What do I do? I can't start off with this joke. She's up there," and he doesn't miss a beat. Continues to play and just says, "Fuck them. They'll respect you more if you do it." So I thought, no, this is like a scene out of Rocky 2 or something. This is my big pump up moment. So
No.
I'm very excited, I'm very jacked up. No, no. Well, at the time it seemed that way. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. So I go up, get up on stage. I hit my first first joke, and I met with the look of sheer horror from the faces of the crowd.
Oh,
And I
really?
yeah, yeah, I was and I looked to my right, and they are still lowering this woman off the stage in a wheelchair. So I wasn't going to win that crowd back. So I had a yeah, yeah.
How did you not notice that?
I was focused, man, focused on the job ahead, which I probably shouldn't have been because I would have noticed and heard the sound of the going down the stage as I started my set.
All right.
So yeah, so that I had 10 minutes to do. I did it in about 5. Grabbed my friend over there with his great advice, and we hit Bourbon Street and um, just threw beads at people the rest of the time. And that was basically the beginning of the end.
All right.
Yeah.
First mistake.
First
It's not
mistake.
your Rocky 2 pump up moment.
No,
Rocky
no.
2 had Gonna Fly Now, I think.
It did, yes.
You had the Donkey Kong soundtrack.
Yes, this part is true.
So,
But I thought if Rocky 2, she wakes up from the coma and she tells him to win. I said, this is it. This is the same thing. It was not the same thing.
no.
So yep, took off, and that was pretty much the end. After that, there was really no sense in going back. But like father, like son, you took your swings.
So going back to the aforementioned Catholic school, I went to a Catholic high school, and during one of my years, I believe it was my 3rd year there, we had open mic nights in the middle of the day. So during lunchtime, they would open up the auditorium. How many people did you say you played to in that?
For that one,
Yeah.
that was probably, I would say 200.
200?
150, 200. Yeah,
Okay, mine probably held somewhere between 20 and probably held 100. 20 to 50 showed up, maybe something
crowd.
like that.
I've played in front of 4 people once, so that's a good crowd.
I might have preferred that,
Yeah,
based
okay,
on what's
okay.
coming next. But I didn't do bad the first time. Quite the opposite. I did pretty well, which probably was worse. Set an unrealistic precedent going forward.
Yeah, when you do good the first time, it kind of
Yeah,
think this is gonna be easy. I was
did
born to do this.
did a little too well the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had these open mic nights, and I had been writing in this notebook just like kind of one-liners and puns and stuff like that. Then occasional like long stand-up bits. I called it the composition. It was brilliant.
Ooh.
Even put a volume 1 on there, like I was going to actually fill it up. So
we have extra paper in the house, is what you're saying, from the notebook. Okay, just a second.
If the notebook even still exists. But I had wrote something, and I figured, screw it, let's go up there and try it out. And so I had this whole bit about high school being the best 4 years of your life. Perfect material for high schools, I know. But when I got up there, I got this amazing opening line that I didn't write down. I walked up to the room full of high schoolers. I went, "Who here's still in high school?" Hooked them immediately. So anyway, I ran through my set. People loved it. People laughed. It felt good. I built a name for myself. Then I started doing the planning and getting ready to do the next one. I hit that promotion hard. I made a promotional poster, black and white image with a crown, poorly photoshopped, I think. Because I wasn't as good as that back then.
You made posters?
Not physical posters.
For talent day? Okay. Hey, promote yourself.
There wasn't a physical, like I didn't print them out and hang around the school, although I should have. If I could, I'm not going to be able to find the image.
We'll make one up.
But if I can, it'll be behind us. And so, yeah, so I made this black and white poster of me, and it was "Thy Comedy Comes," and I put it up on like social media, I think. And I'm like, Stay tuned next week. And then it kept getting rescheduled. I forget all of the reasons, but I'm sure
Did your posters have the date
yeah,
crossed out?
it's the postponed, low tickets, all that. But so finally, the director of student activities, who I'm convinced hated student activities, finally said, "All right, let's do another round of these open mic nights." And so I was prepared. I had a bit. I worked on the bit. I probably could have fine tuned it, but I did practice and stuff. So it's not like I went head first in promotion and nothing else. So
all style, no substance.
Exactly. I go up there. I sign up or whatever it was, and this kid before me does Mad Libs. So I'm going second per se in the comedy.
But I will say, Mad Libs is tough to follow. That's tough to follow.
Well, you'll see. So at one point they need a name, and I believe it specifically said famous male or something along those lines. And one of my friends threw out me because I had a YouTube channel at this point. I was making all the big bucks.
You were huge.
So one of my friends throws at me, whatever. Someone else in the back of the crowd yells out Ron Jeremy in a Catholic high school.
Ron Jeremy, you said, huh? Ron Jeremy. Okay.
You want to fill our audience in who aren't 50 years old?
Hey, everyone knows Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy happens to be one of the most famous male pornographic movie stars. And he is, let's say, a very big star in the business, Mr. Jeremy. Unfortunately, his later life has not been good to him. I believe he was arrested for sexual assault or something, can't stand trial because he's incompetent. But in his day, let me tell you something about Ron Jeremy. I mean, I don't know anything about Ron Jeremy. That's what I say. Never heard of him.
Let me ask you this. As a Catholic school faculty member,
yes,
what do you do in that situation? Because you have two options and only two options. You shut that shit down and admit you know who that is. Not good image for Catholic school. Or you let it go.
I think you got to let that go. I think you got to hope most of the crowd doesn't know a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds in 2000, was it 17, 16? I don't think they.
Yeah, 2018 around maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't quite his peak, if you will.
Well, this story keeps going. So they might have said something, but they didn't like they shut it down lightly, but the event kept going. So now it's my turn. I go up there and I've got this whole set about how Monopoly is a game and how long it takes and something about grandma in there, I think. That's not the important part. The important part was I got my first heckler. And I didn't know how to deal with that.
Yep.
So the kid stands up and starts saying things. And my brilliant strategy is wait for him to finish. So I'm on stage like this, mic in hand, waiting for him to be done. And
do you remember what he was shouting out?
Not at all. Okay. Just being there to be there.
Okay.
And Mrs. Anti-Student Director,
Anti-activities,
student activities,
antisocial,
shuts him up. That was strike two. Ron Jeremy had his turn. This kid was number two. And soon enough, strike three comes up as his friend stands up and says to this faculty member, paraphrasing, "Did you shut him up because he's black?"
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You're out.
Gotta keep the racial harmony. And
she cleared out that auditorium fast. She's like, "We are done," and it never happened again. While I'm still on stage.
So everybody cleared out.
I'm still standing there, mic in hand, waiting for the heckler to finish.
Did they shut the light off while you were still on stage?
I don't know. I don't think we had the luxury of lights. So
tumbleweed comes across the stage.
As bad as that was, better her than me. I didn't want to get that comment.
So you had in this Catholic school talent show comedy festival, you had pornography, you had racism. Nice. Anything else? Any sexism? Any
Not from that particular
okay.
moment.
All right. So it
And
sounds like
so there goes my long-standing stand-up comedy
yeah,
career.
yeah. Yeah, I had I'll give one more and then we'll move on from this debacle, if you will. This was in Jersey, comedy club. Did a set that this well, there's a ton of comedians this night at this show. It's like 15 or something. A long night. Anytime you go to a show and there's that many, it's gonna no matter how good the guys at the end are, it's just people are done
Well,
with it.
if what everyone got, like you said, you got like 10 minutes that last time.
That New Orleans was 10. This was about 5 because there was so many comics.
Still,
That's too many.
Yeah.
It's too many. But one of those comics brought pretty much most of the crowd. This was a weeknight, slow night. So he brought about 20 of his friends, which was about 90% of the audience.
right.
So the owners of the club obviously are going to put him on last because they want to keep the crowd. Because once he goes on, he's done, they're going to take off.
Yeah.
So they want to keep him there. They want to keep the drinks going and stuff. So I did good again this night. This was another one of the good nights, 50-50 usually. But after I was done, I sat there. I waited to the end. And this kid, you could see he was getting his group was getting more and more annoyed. He was getting more annoyed as he waited and waited and waited. Finally, he went up at the end and he just didn't do it. He was so angry. He just started cursing the club out and whatever. And it lasted about 30 seconds and they shut him down like your teacher did. And now his friends are all pissed off. He's pissed off and they're outside the club and they're waiting. They're drunk, they're angry, and they're waiting for whoever comes out of the club first. That would be me. So I come out and I see them start to surround, and I go right up to the kid, and this is me. This is how you survive in this world. I go right up to him. I say, "Man, you were good. I don't know why they cut your mic off, man. You were really good. I wanted to hear the rest of your act." Kind of took him aback a little bit. Wasn't expecting that. He was expecting to punch me in the face. So he automatically said, "Hey, man, thanks a lot. I thought you were good too." And all his friends were like, "Hey, yeah, you were good." I'm like, "Thanks. I really hope to see you again." And I got the hell out of there in a hurry and let the next poor bastard deal with that. So that's how I survived that one. Survived on stage and I survived in the parking lot. Got the hell out of that situation. So that was probably funnier than most of my career at that point. And that ends the comedy segment of our show.
Nothing funny from here on out.
No, I'm not much before either.
No.
You continued with stuff and we both did as I went into more of the behind the scenes writing portion of it. Doing a couple of independent films, did the Jersey Devil, we won some independent awards, worked with some great people, worked with some fun stuff, did some fun stuff, but now we were working on a new series called The Undesirables. We shot the pilot. We are on the festival circuit right now.
What the pilot do? I don't know why I quit stand-up comedy.
Should really go back and write that one. we filmed we filmed the pilot last year, and we're shooting around the festival. Stars Jason Mewes, Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob. Very funny in it. So that's where we are with that. More details, I guess, on this show. We'll bring it up as we hit the festivals and eventually get it out into the world. So so I continue to just go behind the scenes because I don't belong in front of a camera, as anyone who's watching on YouTube can see why I'm behind the camera. But I continue to write and continue to do stuff.
Yeah, I decided to take on every role and start a YouTube channel that includes writer, editor, cameraman, in front of cameraman, special effects team. And I got to say, most of those people are very incompetent at their jobs.
Should have fired those guys.
Yeah, I kind of not do them sometimes.
Okay.
So fast. This was before the comedy incident, I believe. I started my YouTube channel. I'd done gaming first.
Hmm.
And funny enough, I didn't know how to sync video and live commentary yet.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole gaming thing. You play the game
Yes.
yourself
Yes.
and you comment live on the game you're playing.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Well, because I used to play
Yes.
video games back in the day
Yeah.
and I used to talk to myself.
Yeah.
So that was it.
That's
So
it.
I was a pioneer.
Well,
I was an originator.
yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
I did this, but I didn't know how to do live commentary. So I would play the game and then voice over it in iMovie.
iMovie.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of people don't use iMovie when they're doing this.
No.
Okay, okay, just asking.
They
I've
also
worked in-
don't. They also don't do voiceover usually.
Later on. You should have dubbed it in different languages and stuff.
Now they do that.
No, okay.
Kind of. It depends who it is, but yeah. So I did that, and at one point, I branched off into skits, and I had an idea to make a parody of one of the trends going around at the time, which was calling some kind of fictional character at some ungodly hour in the night.
The skit. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The skit,
Yes.
or I should say, the trend was
The trend.
to act like you are calling some kind of fictional character at like 3 a.m.
Okay.
As in, you turned off all the lights in your room and had one light on to make it look like night.
So the whole thing is like you're waking up, like what, like fictional character, like
Mickey Mouse, Buzz Lightyear.
So you're waking them up in the middle of the night with this prank phone call. Is that
not
gist?
even it's not even that. It's like, oh, they're monsters at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I don't get this.
Yeah, no, nobody did. But kids are easy to exploit. So
Okay.
the ones who make
Yes.
money decided to hitch on to that and
Okay.
milk it for all it's worth. Some of them
Okay.
might still be doing that to this day.
Making money.
And to that I say, grow up. Anyway,
they're making money on it.
I don't have the tax records to confirm or deny that.
Okay.
Anyway, I decide, nah, this is dumb, and I'm going to point out how dumb it is in this cool video of mine. I decided to make a parody of it.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
A parody requires planning and
This is-
jokes.
Wait, so this was like your social commentary on the trend, how much cooler you are.
Yeah,
Man.
I was ahead of my time. So ahead of my time that I thought I didn't need a script or a plan or anything. My plan
Preparing.
was I went up to my friend in school that day, said, hey, you do a pretty good Terminator voice. I'm going to call you sometime tonight. Act like you're the Terminator. And that was it.
Hey, improv, man.
Sure.
Pre-planning's for losers,
Sure.
man.
So I had no jokes planned out. I had no jabs at this trend planned out. And it ended up just being another stupid one of the trends. And my friend, God bless him,
You
had
became what
no
you hate.
idea exactly, had no idea what was going on. And you know how well that did?
How well did that do?
1.5 thousand views.
Wait, what?
1.5 thousand views.
I don't think that's how you say that.
What do you mean?
I think it's either 1,500 or 1,005. I don't think you use the point for thousands.
YouTube does.
Does it?
Yes.
So that's 1.5.
It's written as 1.5K.
Okay, but you say it as 1,500 or 1,500.
Maybe.
Every time I hear the point, I think millions.
Oh, sorry. I'm not that good.
Okay, well, you kind of, I don't know.
Anyway, for the past 5 years, it was my most viewed video on my old channel that I could not overcome, no matter what I did. The closest I ever did was an Among Us video where I went into the game's files and changed the Among Us skins to look like the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is Baby Yoda.
Among Us is the one that they did the HBO show on?
No, that's The Last of Us.
Oh, is it a sequel?
No,
So it has nothing to do with it.
not at all.
I'm going to stop talking.
Pedro Pascal has no affiliation with Among Us yet.
Okay.
And so that got 1.2 thousand views. Still
1.2 thousand.
yes.
We
But
got to, can we check that? Is there anybody who can check that?
no,
on
we
us?
don't have
It's really bothering
we
me.
don't have a third person to fact check us.
Okay, where's our
It's
producer?
1 point right here. 1.2 thousand views.
Okay, we'll go with that.
And then I made a video using paint markers, Posca markers, to draw on an old jean jacket I had.
Pasta markers?
Posca, Posca.
Oh, okay.
They are basically painted marker form.
Good.
And so I made a little short about that, being like before and after. That finally got 1.1900 views, which is
that doesn't sound wrong to you. Just saying.
I said it right.
What'd you say?
1900.
I thought you said 1.9. Oh, okay. Maybe, okay. I'm gonna start listening to the show. Go ahead.
1900 views, which was pretty big. I'm like, oh, cool, I finally beat it. But it was considered a short, which is a different type of video format from the other one. And so I'm like, okay, kind of, not really. And then finally, when I made into Ben 10, finally just recently surpassed it with 1.9 thousand views.
No, this is all on what channel? What's
this is the Kingpin channel, which I believe is now renamed to Kyle Pepitone.
Okay.
I figured if I put in words that are phonetically spelt correct, I might get more subscribers.
How'd that work out?
Jury's still out on this one.
Well, you've done, I mean, you got over 100. That's not bad.
It was like
Starting from
230, but it was getting too cluttered. I didn't love it, but I'm not, I gotta
big thing with you're like me in that you start and stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of our MO. We start and we get excited. Like I said with the show, I'll start waning in my excitement.
Yeah, how you holding up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make it. So you're making the attempts. You're making the attempts, and it's weird to get like doing those videos and stuff viral is you don't know what or why things go viral. I just watched a documentary on Netflix. It was called the machete wielding hitchhiker. Okay. I believe is the title. I believe it's Machete. And I'm thinking this is going to be a great horror film. I'm really excited about it. But it turns out it's a documentary. And people might remember this about 10 years ago. This hitchhiker named Kai. He hitchhikes as a hitchhiker would do.
Yeah.
And he's in the car with this guy, and the guy starts to lose his mind, start talking like he's Jesus Christ and stuff, and suddenly plows into a bunch of like utility workers, pins a guy against a pole, and just flips out and gets out of the car and starts attacking women. So now our hero, Kai, happens to have a machete in his bag, as a hitchhiker would carry with him.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the car and he attacks the guy and he saves the woman and he's like the hero. So a local reporter goes there and interviews him. Now, Kai is this absolute stoner surfer, old time, like dude bro, Jeff Spicoli. If I can bring it back, you should know who Jeff Spicoli is. All right.
No.
But and they're interviewing him and he's just going all over the place. He's talking about everybody should love each other and totally in his dude voice, man. And then he explains what he did and how he hit the guy and he goes smash, smash, smash. All of a sudden it becomes this viral, it goes viral. It's millions of people are watching it. And the reporter, in his infinite wisdom, thinks he's got a star in his hand, and he's the only one who knows where this guy is, who could contact him. So he thinks he's got the golden goose. So all these producers all of a sudden want to make a reality show with this guy based on a 5-minute interview where he hits somebody over the head with a machete. All right. So they track the guy down.
Worse things have been made.
Well, yes. I could see where they were going with it. So they track this guy down. The reporter's like holding on to him like it's his guy. All the producers have to go through this reporter because the reporter's seeing dollar signs. So they find this guy, they track him down, they bring him to LA, and they're going to put him up in the Roosevelt Hotel, which is like one of the most famous hotels in history. Hollywood legends stayed there. So what he does, he gets there, he's waiting outside this famous hotel, and he urinates right there on Hollywood Boulevard. So right there should be a red flag. Besides the machete, this should be a red flag. Maybe we shouldn't make a show with this guy.
We're pretty par for the course for Hollywood so far.
No, they're still going to go with it. So they bring him into the hotel. He goes in, drinks everything from the mini bar, comes back downstairs and skateboards through this hollowed grounds of this hotel. So naturally, they throw him out of the hotel.
Still par for the course for Hollywood.
No,
But
well,
keep
I mean,
going.
he's already acting like he's the star, but this guy's just so out of it, so just oblivious. But they book him on Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
This is how he's on Jimmy Kimmel late night show. He shows up at Jimmy Kimmel, and the first thing he does is he pees on Jimmy Kimmel's sign. Obviously, there's a trend here with this guy and urination. He might have a problem. So he goes on Kimmel. It's funny. It's a big hit, and there's still we're gonna make a show, and this guy we're gonna make a reality show. As it goes on, as they try to continue to work with him, they see he's more and more not there,
Really?
unbalanced, unstable.
Really?
Finally, the producers say, we're never going to be able to work with this guy. We're never going to be able to set up shots. We'll never be able to put anything together with this guy because he's just gone. He's gone. So he winds up disappearing again. Turns up in New Jersey, where he winds up killing a guy. He wound up somehow meeting this guy, staying over his house. Accusations that the guy tried to rape him, whatever it was, drug him and rape him. Anyway, he winds up killing the guy. Goes to trial and is now doing 57 years in prison. So it's just amazing. They really jumped the gun, I think, by taking this 5-minute interview from this machete wielding hitchhiker and saying, hey, we got a show here. So like I said, you never know what's going to go viral. Your Terminator thing might go viral. Maybe you'll be peeing on Jimmy Kimmel's sign one day.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we all say we're not going to do it, but then we do.
I can't argue that one.
No. You never know. You never know what you'll be.
I think that we've got a while before we get there.
Yeah, we could go pee on the sign right now. Don't have to be famous or anything. You could pee on Hollywood Boulevard. Everybody's done that.
Yeah.
So we're halfway there, as they say.
Are we?
Halfway there. Okay. That's all I got on that.
All right. Where do we go from here?
No, I mean, we're just paralleling what we've done and stuff. Because I have worked. We've done the stand up. We've tried other things in the video world. Radio. We have hit all media. We both have some background in radio.
Yeah, we've tried being in front of the camera. Realized that didn't work. Figured it was maybe our faces, and so then we went behind the camera.
Definitely was our
off camera with radio.
Yeah, radio was my first job. First started in radio. First interning and then producing a couple of talk shows. Way back in the day, I think everybody I work with is not deceased. That's how we go. That's how we go back. But all good. All enjoy. I did enjoy it. But I remember interning. First couple of weeks there, we had, and this goes way back, cartridges, all the commercials, all the music beds, everything was on these cartridges, like 60-second cartridges. And we all put this in this big revolving rack. We had hundreds of them. And we bring them into the studio. And at the end of the show, we'd bring them back to the office. So it was a long hallway with a turn. So it was my job to bring it right before the show started.
Okay.
So I'm walking down the hallway. This was in ABC radio networks at the time. It's big hallway, all these news people there in the cubicles, and I got to make it down the office in one left turn. So I make it to the left turn, and as I turn, I tip over, and every single cart falls on the floor, alphabetical order, all everywhere. As all these people are, who is this dumb intern bastard? Crawling on the floor looking for, okay, here's Avis, here's what's on Burger King, let's put that back. I was just looking for everything, and I'm not good at alphabetizing anyway, so it's a real mess. And people just walk, no one's helping me, shaking their heads as they step over me. And that was the start of my radio career, and I lasted a little while in it after that debacle. Produced a couple of shows, but that one I never lived down. That was a bad experience, being on my knees. On my knees, man, on your knees. And that was my radio career.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Absolutely. I used to produce a radio show overnight in a radio station, and this big office building in Jersey, and I used to have to drive the host. I would, I lived in Brooklyn at the
Okay.
time. I had to drive to Manhattan to pick up the two hosts. One lived
Both of
on
them.
both of them. One lived on Park Avenue. Then I had to shoot over to 70 West 79th Street, get the
None
other
of
guy.
this means anything to me.
All right, it's upper Manhattan, and then drive through the tunnel back to Jersey and the Meadowlands area. So this was my job. I was chauffeur slash producer. And I would pick up this old rich guy first, and then I would pick up the other host of the show, who was a radio guy for 100 years, and then drive out to do the show. Now we had a 2 hour show, and there's nobody in the office building.
Right.
Nobody in the office building. So we have it. We do our show. I'm producing. I'm screening the calls. I'm keeping everything moving, and we get like 2.5 minute breaks
Okay.
during the show, and I gotta go to the bathroom. So in this entire office building are the two hosts, me, and the engineer. The closest bathroom, right outside the door, is the women's bathroom. Men's are a little further. I got 2.5 minutes. Nobody's in the building. Boom. I go right to the women's bathroom. Apparently, on this night, there was someone else in there in the women's bathroom. And let's just say the next day, I got a notice not to use the women's bathroom anymore because obviously, with only four of us in there, they were going to figure out who was in the women's bathroom at 1:30 in the morning in this radio station. So I didn't have the luxury, and this will come back to you, of playing a long song, a free bird, if you will, a stairway to heaven. I had 2.5 minutes to get in and get out. And I did what I had to do.
You're
And I stand behind that part.
you're a real winner in your early days.
Uh, you do what you got to do.
Yeah. I haven't had that experience because
Then you haven't lived.
well, I have. I've accidentally walked into a women's bathroom once because I can't read apparently. My brain was unable to discern the shapes of the two characters at this particular day.
Yes.
But that's not what I'm trying to talk about here. That's not how I got famous. If I did.
Infamous.
No, but I did radio, and the people who built the radio building thankfully decided to put the men and women's bathroom next to each other, as any sensible person would do.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know why they weren't that close.
That
on the other side of the hall.
That makes no sense, honestly.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was there, and I just decided to use it. I don't know.
You know what? Either one's likely. Yeah. So I haven't had any of those fiascos, but I did have my own. Because I had to take a test in before I became a certified DJ at my college, and I didn't even want to do it at first. You talked me into it because I didn't have a show idea. I didn't have anything to tie myself down to.
Because I wanted you to pee in a woman's bathroom.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Do not put that out there. I just didn't have a solid show idea of one specific topic to tie myself down to. So I'm like, what's the point in doing this? But anyway, I did it. And then halfway through the entire learning phase, COVID hit. And so the actual final test had turned out to be online, which never actually really affected this particular incident, but just for context, I guess. But I failed the test the first time because I got two questions wrong. One of them was, what do you do if you have to use the bathroom during your show?
You use the closest one and you play Stairway to Heaven.
No. Apparently put the 24-hour station into auto was not the correct answer. The correct answer was actually call somebody else to take over for you for those probably 2.5 minutes you're gone.
You better call somebody.
I didn't get that, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the other question I got wrong is I got the name of the building wrong by one letter.
The building you were in?
Yeah.
What was the name of the building?
No, not the building the radio was in. I wasn't taking a test in the building.
Well, you walked into the building.
Yeah.
There's the name of the building.
Yeah.
And you got it wrong.
Yeah. No, because it was one of those things. This is how they get you. This is how they get you.
The conspiracy.
The name of the building was the School of Communication and Media. Two of the multiple choice answers were School of Communication and Media and School of Communications.
and media.
So
they mess with your head. You're like, oh, is it that one or that one?
So it's communication
singular. Yes.
So just one communication.
Yes. And it's not fair because most of the radio people at my school are also film majors, which is in the exact same building. I was an art major, which was in this decrepit old shack across campus.
So you saying
so they saw the sign of the building every day. And
but are you saying that it should have been like there was more than one communication? So the building should have been communication?
I didn't know. Yes.
That's a fair argument.
I rationed it out. Obviously, that question wasn't worth as much. But I stand by that's the reason I failed. Fast forward a couple months to when I do pass and I actually do get to have a show. I go, screw it. I can't hold myself down to anything. Let's talk about anything and everything. So I came up with the name King's Chaos because
Kingpin. I'm rocking the shirt.
Congratulations. That shirt looks older than the show.
Well, that's who made the shirt. But still, rocking the shirt. Represent.
Yes. So King's Chaos because for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Why are we doing math? What is going on here?
For 9 years, I've been rolling with the nickname Kingpin for some reason. And Chaos made an alliteration, which was fun. So yeah, I did that show. Kind of started off okay. I just invited one person on to be like, hey, we'll talk about whatever you want. Yada, yada, yada. Then I wind up doing it in person finally, which was rather than pre-recorded.
Yes.
Which was one hell of a transition.
I'm sure.
Because I only used the board once to do the test to pass, yada, yada, yada. But then everything was literally just Zoom and Premiere.
Well, the other show you did pre-recorded, you edited later before you put out? Is that
So most of the first 25 episodes of King's Chaos were pre-recorded on Zoom. I edited in Premiere just to, I don't know, knock out that boring parts or like knock out music sections, stuff like that. Good for YouTube.
Good to see you moved on from iMovie.
Yes. But then I had this weird, like this not cultural shift, but this weird like shock of moving on to on air. And then.
But now was the transition to, because you were live now.
Yeah.
Was the transition there? Like when you had nothing to say, you gotta keep things going.
Yeah.
You can't edit that out.
Yes.
You're live. So that must have been
but I never really leaned on that I was never like, oh, hold up. I have nothing to say here. We'll just pick up in a second. That did happen at one point. I was interviewing an artist and, in my early days of interview, I'm like, oh yeah, put whatever questions you want me to ask you into the document. That's not how you do an interview. But this one particular artist did that and I didn't read them over. So I got to a point where I'm like, I have no idea where to go from here. And then I look over and I'm like, oh, there's actually stuff here. Let me do that. And then obviously I just cut it.
Well, the good thing is you're okay. That was the thing, but you're on radio. They're not seeing you. You could write this stuff down.
Oh yeah. No, I had documents for the pre-recorded stuff. I had outlines. Just at one particular time, I was not as prepared as I could have been. I've since gotten better.
I hope so.
I've met with bigger people since then.
Well, when we start having guests on this show, let's see how prepared you really are. What? Look at Dare.
I got it. I can do it. I can hold my own in an interview, provided I remember we have it.
We will see about that.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I did one show and it got kind of popular around the station. So people would just kind of show up whenever they wanted to. And which really added to the chaos aspect. And I really enjoyed.
It was cool. People just randomly show up here.
Okay.
Just wander into our basement.
Yeah. We don't have enough issues with what we're going with right now. Let's add more factors into the mix. But yeah, so like, which was really good because like, if you had a topic and you were kind of running a little dry, a new person would come in with their perspective on the topic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it really captivated that chaos that I was going for the first 40 episodes.
40 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then in my radio career, I also wound up running a video game show. And
On the what?
Running.
Okay.
Yeah, running, hosting.
If you're going to point out all my old references, I'm going to point out You're
I haven't pointed out
You're-
one old reference because I
You-
haven't understood them.
you didn't know. Okay. Just Spicoli, you should know.
Okay, I don't.
Everyone should know that. You
Okay.
should.
Anyway, I wound up hosting a video game show with a couple of friends and a heavy metal show with my girlfriend. And not only was it a heavy metal show, it was a heavy metal improv comedy story based show, which had not been done before on the station.
On the station.
Yes,
Mhm.
on that particular
Wow.
station. So I hold us quite proud to that one because it was something new. Like anybody can have a talk show, as you
Try
can
something
see.
different. That's good.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I almost missed that one.
Yeah, and so we had something different, which was definitely interesting. It was fun to do.
But what you should, before you got to your shows, talk about the first show you were on and what happened there.
When
You signed up for a show you didn't realize what it was.
when I was first learning, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
So
show did you end up on?
I did a poor job. Okay, either I did a poor job looking at what each of the shows were, or the website was not in the state it is now. And so I did not check the shows I shadowed. I just kind of chose a show that was convenient for me in a time slot, which ended up being a sports show.
And why is that a problem? May I ask?
I don't have the physique or mentality for sports.
But you must follow it and understand it.
No.
Okay. So you weren't on a sports show. There's your first thing in radio without one speck of knowledge of, and you didn't even have one sport you could rely on. Like, I don't care if it's fucking cricket or curling.
I had
There's not
nothing.
one.
Bowling.
You couldn't even do that.
I would like to give myself some
I would-
benefit of the doubt and be like it was some obscure name that didn't have sports in the title.
Probably Bob's
I-
Big Sports
Yeah,
Show.
I signed up to be on the sports show without realizing what it was.
Sports and nothing else. Jeez, well, I'll do this show.
Oh,
Yeah, so that I always found that I would love
or maybe
to hear
it was
those.
called, or maybe it was called Sports Suck, and I'm like, this
Yeah,
is
okay,
perfect.
Yeah. I would love to hear those shows of not hearing you at all on it, not interacting in any
Yeah.
way.
But I didn't totally mess up. I went on another show called Rock and Talk Radio.
There you go.
That one.
There's
was
your
what I was
thing.
going for.
That's your.
And by God, was I awkward. Sports, rock music, whatever it is. When I first started off, I didn't have an on-air presence at all.
Oh,
And it's just like, hi, I know about this one thing. Yeah, you know the AC/DC's got a new album. That was like the main thing I talked about for like 3 months.
yeah, we know we have a new album. It's not new anymore. 3 months old. Wait, was it a new album? We were talking like the Back in Black.
Okay.
Which new album were you
Yeah.
talking about?
No, it was called Power Up, which is coincidentally the shirt I'm wearing.
Hey.
But they when did they announce? I want to say they like announced it during my first testing, which was the beginning of
Okay.
2019, and they were released in like November of 2019. So I think anytime I was on radio, I'm like, here's what I'm going to talk about, because it's the only thing
That's
that
good,
apparently
that's good.
interests me at the time.
Well, we will be talking. We'll be talking music. We'll be talking a lot of things. We'll have a lot of guests on the show. We're looking forward to who we grab, who's interested, and we'll talk about we have no focus. That's basically, if you have listened to this episode, you can tell we're a little all over the road. So that's what this show is going to be.
What were you saying?
One of us must listen.
Yeah,
when one
sorry.
talks, someone should listen to us. But yeah, we're gonna have some cool guests, some cool subjects. We'll play around with something and find our way, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, those are our. Just to recap, we did stand-up comedy, failure. We did social media, failure. We did radio, failure.
Well, for you,
Hey,
don't grow me into that. I'm doing quite well, thank you very much.
Hey, I was a producer of the #1 show on the all Christian radio station, heard only in the parking lot of the Meadowlands, I believe. So
I
that's
was
pretty big.
I was nominated for an award. So
Don't make me bring up the 2 Emmys, man.
no, we're good. We're good.
I wasn't gonna bring up the 2 Emmys.
Oh, fine, whatever. We're
right.
cutting it here.
Okay, but I will bring up that I am, and humble brag here, the Our Lady of Grace Grammar School General Excellence Award winner. I'm sorry, make that co-winner.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up.
That might be my proudest achievement.
Let's give it up.
Because general excellence means I'm good at everything. Ha.
I won Presidential Excellence Award, but signed by Obama himself. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for listening into us. This has been Feeding the Ducks. If you would like to follow us for more, you can find us
on the interweb.
I believe that we will dub this over if it is incorrect, but I believe all our handles are FTD Cast.
FTD Cast. It's on Twitter. We are on.
We should be on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
Facebook. We're gonna be.
We're on Facebook.
By the time this
we'll get there. MySpace.
MySpace, good.
Your little the convenience store down the road where they're.
We'll be in like AOL chat rooms.
Yeah.
We will hit everything. We will go back in time and hit all the stuff, because that's until someone listens.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh.
Thank you. No, that was it. I was going to thank him, but you're going to thank him.
All right, I'm going to thank him. Take care, everybody.